Welcome, listeners of WHFB AM 1060 and WIMS AM 1420, as we launch another edition of the Green Radio Network. Here on the Green Radio Network, we'll bring you a variety of green topics and the latest information on green technology and transportation. This program features environmental leaders throughout northern Indiana and the entire nation. The Green Radio Network is sponsored by NERPC, the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, and the award-winning South Shore Clean Cities. Both entities are leaders in the environmental industry and work together to bring cleaner air and more sustainable living to northern Indiana. Now to introduce Carl Lisek, Executive Director of South Shore Clean Cities and the host of the show.
Thank you for that introduction. Today our guest is Mr. Zach Drips. He's the Principal Planner for the Michiana Council of Governments, or MACOG, and one of our sponsors of the Green Radio Network. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And great to have you. What a great day. I can't believe, the weather has just been outstanding again. And so what we want to talk today, Zach, is I think this is your first time on our radio show.
Is.
We wanted to talk about the Michiana Area Council of Governments, or MACOG. What is MACOG?
Great. Thanks. So MACOG, which is the Michiana Area Council of Governments. It's a regional intergovernmental agency representing Elkhart, Kosciuszko, Marshall, and St. Joseph counties in north central Indiana. So we bring together local governments to study and resolve areas of local interests. So this includes transportation, transit, economic development, environment, and other issues that impact our region. As we know, all these issues don't stop at the municipal boundaries. People and goods travel between communities. We drink water, breathe air from other areas. So it's important that local decision makers come together to talk about how their community contributes to the region. So at MACOG, we work to foster a cooperative, coordinated, and comprehensive planning process to strategically address these issues now and in the future. One way we do this is through our Michiana on the Move 2040 Transportation Plan. This is a long-range plan that looks at transportation needs for the future and how we can best implement those projects to move people and goods.
You talked a little bit about coordination, collaboration, and cooperation. I think that's one of the big things that we've seen is that our local governments are working collectively together to bring better quality of life issues. They're communicating on things that have worked, best management practices, and again, I think from our previous conversations that we have had off the air is that we really admire the great work that's going on with MACOG in the future of northern Indiana. So congratulations on that. And so with your job as a principal planner, what do you do?
Yeah, so I primarily look at managing all the planning projects we have going on. So all those different areas of either transportation and transit, economic development, environmental programs. There's a lot of individual projects such as working on the long-range plan as well as short-range transportation planning. We oversee the Partners for Clean Air program, which I think we'll talk about later.
Yes.
We also staff the St. Joseph River Basin Commission, so there's a lot of projects going on in there. And we do economic development planning. So we work with the Regional Development Authority, North Central Indiana, to help work on the Regional Cities grant that we received earlier.
Yeah, which is
year.
fantastic. Yes.
So my responsibility is just to kind of make sure all those things are going on. We're keeping to our schedule and get out in the community.
Sure. No, I know that it's just been a extremely busy 2016 with a lot of your environmental programs. Tell us a little more about this active transportation plan.
Yeah, the Active Transportation Plan came out of our 2040 Long-Range Transportation Plan, and that plan typically focuses on vehicular transportation. But there was a lot of interest in doing a separate process to talk about our active transportation needs in the future. So active transportation, this refers to any human-powered transportation that engages people in healthy physical activity while they travel from place to place. This includes walking, biking, if you're pushing strollers, using wheelchairs, skateboards, rollerblading, really any way to get from one place to another.
Sure.
So last summer, our policy board adopted the Regional Active Transportation Plan. This plan established a vision of what we would like to see active transportation in our region, and it provided a comprehensive strategy to encourage more people to walk and bike.
Sure.
So this plan built on the current efforts of our community. There's a lot of work going on in our region to build trails and push for this. So in our 4-county region, there's over 800 miles of trails, bike lanes, and bicycle routes. This plan proposed an additional 550 miles of infrastructure over the next 20 years.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And so to help support the infrastructure, we also proposed different strategies to include education programs, updated policies, and encouragement programs. So right now we're working in a lot of different areas to implement portions of this, such as setting up a active transportation committee to help encourage more biking and walking, as well as work on a complete street policy for our region and our communities.
So again, very busy. Again, I think anybody that's been in downtown South Bend lately has noticed all the major improvements that have happened with a lot of roundabouts, a lot of sidewalk improvements.
Yeah.
I know as we come to meetings in and around the South Bend area, there was a plethora of activity going on before the year's end, and I know with different planters, different things, different community activities. It looks like it's going to be a wonderful 2017 for MACOG and the surrounding communities.
It really is, and over this next year, we'll see several large trail projects continue to work. So there's a trail that goes up between South Bend up to Niles, Michigan. It's the LaSalle Trail is going to be building a new section over this next year, and then the Pumpkin Vine Trail out in Elkhart is also including a new off-road portion of the trail. So across our whole region, they're seeing a lot more development and a lot of exciting things happening this year.
That's wonderful. And so I know one of the programs that you did talk about was the Partners for Clean Air program. And again, I think anybody that's from Indiana, the Chicagoland area has heard Partners for Clean Air, and a lot of it comes out around summertime when ozone action days and things like that. And why don't you tell our listeners a little bit how MACOG is involved with this program?
Yeah, you bet. The Partners for Clean Air program has been in the Michiana area since 1994. The main goal of this program was to educate citizens and businesses how to keep the air clean. During each year, during the air quality action season, as you said, runs from May to September. We run radio and television ads to remind the public about simple ways they can clean the air. People can also sign up on our website if they're interested in air quality, to receive daily updates on air quality forecasts in the region. These forecasts are based off the Air Quality Index, which provides a simple way for people to understand the air pollution in the region. And then each year we also host an annual awards luncheon. This kicks off our season, and we bring in speakers to talk about the air quality in our region, what they're doing, as well as awarding individuals and businesses who are doing their part to help our air quality.
Wonderful. And do you have a date picked for that already?
We do. Our next event is April 25th, and it's going to be at the Matterhorn Conference Center in Elkhart. And we'll be having more information on our website for people to join, to get participation.
Sure. And as you talk about your website, why don't you give our listeners your website?
Yeah, that's www.macog.com. That's MACOG.com. You can find information on there for all our different programs.
Yeah, there's a multitude of things that are going on your website. And again, I know with the amount of things that you're involved with, Zach, and the rest of your team, it's very exciting. And so, another exciting program that we've just recently partnered with you on was the Green Fleet program. Let's talk a little bit about that, the Green Fleet program, why it's important for our communities and our businesses really to embrace green.
Yeah. So as you said, this last year we enter that partnership together, at least more formally, to talk about Green Fleet programs, which is all about how to help businesses and municipalities work on greening their municipal fleets there. And this has been a big focus for our Partners for Clean Air program over the last several years. But at MACOG, we had really lacked the technical expertise to advise our community and our businesses on how their options to greening their fleet. And so working with you and your staff at South Shore Clean Cities, you provide that kind of knowledge and of programs and opportunities and technologies that they can implement. So it's been a really great success already. This last year during your annual meeting, City of South Bend was recognized as one of the top performing members to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Absolutely, and not just in South Bend, state of Indiana, and then probably one of the leading fleets in the United States that's have embraced compressed natural gas, not only the city, but the transit system, Transpo. Very exciting. We're just, excited to hear how this potentially can be an asset not only to the Michiana MACOG area, but throughout the state. And again, as we talk about exciting things going around 2017, I think you're going to see a lot more activity, a lot more recognition for MACOG and the city of South Bend for this implementation of natural gas. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, we were really excited at MACOG. We were able to help provide the city of South Bend and Transpo with a CMAQ grant in order to help fund that CNG station. So we were really happy to be able to partner and see this station open up, and that's available to not only the city and the bus, but also to the public.
Absolutely. And again, I think you're going to hear a lot more about that coming with some of the private fleets that are looking at maybe potentially converting their fleets to an alternative fuel. So it's, again, as things are shaping up for early spring of 2017, I think you're going to see a lot of activity going in and around the MACOG area. And again, go to the MACOG website to see all these different activities on all kinds of green initiatives that are going on throughout the area. So, very excited about that. So, I know you have a busy 2017 plan. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you got going on besides the Green Fleet program.
Yeah, it's one of the new things that we've been able to do. Last year, we submitted an application to the Solar Foundation to participate in hosting what's called a Soul Smart Advisor. The Soul Smart Advisor is a person that we get. It's fully funded by the foundation. It's an experienced staff member whose responsibility is to help our communities receive a Soul Smart designation. That designation is much like the bicycle-friendly designations we hear about, where a community gets to know how open they are for solar projects. They achieve this by reducing local barriers to solar and spurring a local solar market of growth. So MACOG was one of 11 regions in the country to be
congratulations. That's
accepted.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and a lot of those other regions included Atlanta, Philadelphia, Chapel Hill area, North Carolina.
A lot of bigger cities.
A lot of really big cities. So we were very pleased to be selected to participate in our area. So our advisor is primarily working with the city of South Bend, the city of Goshen, and city of Napanee to look at what the process is for a resident to get to install solar in their home, and how to make it better for the resident as well as the city. So to make it more open, free, and accessible for everyone. So we're really excited. Our advisor started in early February, and she'll be here for about 6 months.
Okay.
And we're really excited to see what this project does in the future for us, and how we can continue to help our communities become more solar ready.
So if we did have some of the communities and individual and businesses that are interested in potentially participating in some of the events, some of the surveys and things like that, how would they get a hold of this contact? Would they just contact you?
Yeah, if they get a hold of MACOG, go to our website again, get more information there, and we'll have our contact information available. You can get a hold of us at any time. We can get you connected to this person. So, we'll be having several workshops throughout the summer to educate the residents and businesses about solar and how that works and how they can be able to do that at home.
Wonderful. That sounds very exciting, Zach. And you're listening to the Green Radio Network here on AM 1420 WIMS Radio and AM 1060 WHFB. I'm your host, Carl Lisek, and we'll be right back with Mr. Zach Drips of the MACOG Principal Planner right after this.
There's nothing more important than spending time outdoors with your family. That's why it's so important to do whatever you can to keep our air clean. It's good for the environment and good for the health of your friends and family. Take a closer look at how poor quality is affecting our community. Across the 3 counties of Northwest Indiana, recent studies from the American Lung Association show that 9% of adults suffer from asthma, 4% live with chronic bronchitis, 38% have a form of cardiovascular disease, 10% of the children in Lake and LaPorte counties struggle with pediatric asthma. Now, the number of adults with asthma is nearly that of adults with diabetes. Consider how diabetics make adjustments to their diet in order to be as healthy as possible. Everyone can make adjustments to improve air quality and the quality of life for those who live with asthma and other lung diseases. Northwest Indiana, clean air, think green, breathe easy. A message from NERPC.
So welcome back to the Green Radio Network here on AM 1420, WIMS Radio, and AM 1060, WHFB. I'm Carl Lisek of South Shore Clean Cities, here to bring you the latest information on green projects and topics across the nation. Our guest today is Mr. Zach Drips. He's the Principal Planner for the Michiana Area Council of Governments, or MACOG as we call it. So Zach, as we were talking about some of the great things that were going on with MACOG, let's talk a little bit about the Elkhart-Goshen Bike Ped Master Plan. And I know that's very exciting to a lot of people in the area. So let's talk about that.
So through our work with the Active Transportation Plan, I mentioned earlier, the cities of Elkhart and Goshen want to take that plan a step further and really talk about how they can implement it on the local level. So they both applied to the Indiana State Department of Health to receive a grant to create a bicycle and pedestrian master plan. This grant is typically awarded to a single community. However, with MACOG's help, the state awarded the grant to MACOG on behalf of both the communities. So we can do a joint plan between Elkhart and Goshen, which really suited their needs in Elkhart and Goshen. So this plan, as I said, goes beyond the Active Transportation Plan to identify what each community can do to encourage more biking and walking. The plan will be adopted by their city councils and included in the comprehensive plan, which will help further the mission of the Active Transportation. So the process began earlier this year and will continue through the summer. So there'll be opportunities for the public to participate, to receive feedback. There'll be a survey and other opportunities. So to stay up to date, again, you can go to our website at www.macog.com to get more information on that, or you can contact each of the cities for more information.
You know, a lot of times I think people forget how many colleges are involved with MACOG. You know, again, we've got St. Mary's, we've got Notre Dame, but in regards to the number of people that are really involved with a lot of the local area colleges that are, you know, these students that are riding their bikes or want to ride their bikes, you know, the thousands of people that really are here as residents, potential residents or temporary residents that want to ride their bikes. So, I mean, I think, you know, working these plans is, and then just the bikeability, walkability of the communities getting to the downtown areas is just fantastic. So congratulations on moving that forward. So let's talk about some of your other upcoming projects. I know we mentioned Partners for Clean Air and that event coming up on April 29th. You know, we'll be a part of that, and you know, people from all over. It's an event. If anybody's interested in it, it's open to the public. Yeah. And again, you know, we want to stress there's you know, this is an educational component of people to learn about not only Partners but some of the other programs and plans that are going on with MACOG. So excited about that. But what about some of your other upcoming projects, Zach?
Yeah. So I mentioned before that we help operate the St. Joseph River Basin Commission.
Sure.
And this is a commission of northern Indiana counties that touch the St. Joseph River Basin. And this is a really important asset here in northern Indiana. And they get together to talk about various issues of water quality and the flow, of how those things impact the communities along that river. So each year they have opportunities to learn more. We have a staff member that goes out in the public and does workshops, meets with members there, and help coordinate any other plans, functions there. So each year we do host a symposium, which happens in May as well. Okay. So people can find more information again on our website. Wonderful. On that. And also the River Basin's website, which is sjrbc.com, which is St. Joseph River Basin Commission, sjrbc.com. So there's a lot of great information about the river basin, about the water quality. The staff member there helps coordinate a region-wide water quality testing series. So they go out and test water at sites throughout the year to really get a good sense of where our water is going and how it's looking, and that information is used in various plans and initiatives throughout the area.
Sure. You know, we've read, we've heard, we've been involved with a lot of the studies and the forecasts for the future of northern Indiana and the amount of potential people and businesses that will be coming back to the Great Lakes area, and you know how that's going to impact our communities, transportation systems, water quality, so on and so forth. But I think one of the things that we take for granted as people from northern Indiana is this great resource we have called Lake Michigan. Yes. And you know, again, I think as you know, with all the programs that you're mentioning, I know that MACOG does not take this for granted and is looking at ways of, improving the quality, but not only from, an environmental perspective, but from an economic development perspective, as we see some of these new businesses potentially come to our area, and how to get them ready, how to get our roads ready, how to prepare for the future of northern Indiana. And again, I think, MACOG's won numerous awards, not only from the state, but, from the federal government on some of this pre-planning that you and your staff have been involved with. So, again, it's just wonderful to see this pre-planning, the amount of time, respect, and the implementation with all the communities and businesses throughout the Michiana area. So I just want to say congratulations, because again, as we attend a lot of your meetings, you just see the excitement, you see the camaraderie. I'm not saying that everybody agrees on everything, but again, it's tabled what's best for the area, and I think that's a tribute to the MACOG staff and the local leaders, that everybody is working together. And and as we talked before, is that there is a lot of communication that goes on with you and the other regional planning commissions throughout the state of Indiana, and that's something that we do see a lot, and with our local state legislators and our senators and Congress people and Congresswomen. So again, I think there's a lot of work that I don't think people realize that goes into running your office, and it's not. You guys have been doing a great job. So as we talk about some of the other things, let's talk a little bit about the livable communities.
Yeah, so the Livable Communities is a program that we've had running through our office since the early 2000s. And each year we like to bring our policy board together, which is our board of directors for our organization, as well as their technical staff, to talk about livable communities issues. And this is regards to more sustainable transportation options, linking land use and transportation together, as well as other environmental issues. How do you cohesively think those things together? And so we bring in regional or national experts to come and talk to these the planners, engineers, decision makers about different issues and why they're important to their community, and how we can work together as a region to make our communities more livable. And so each year we host a joint workshop with those committees, and that usually takes place in July. Okay. And that workshop, we host in various communities of our region and be able to go out and kind of highlight some of the great work that our communities are already doing to make them more livable. So in the past, we've gone to river walks to check out the development efforts that are happening as part of that initiatives, or seeing different economic development components that bring in quality of life and how people can attract more quality employees and businesses to their communities.
Wonderful. And then one of the last things I want to talk about is the 2045 regional plan. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So as I mentioned when you first started, one of the key documents and things that as an office we do is long-range transportation planning. And so we look out 20, 25 years in the future and trying to identify our needs, what traffic patterns would be, land use would be, what sort of developments might occur that we need to be planning for. And so this document brings together a cohesive vision and view of what that future will be. We have models using traffic analysis to look at where traffic flows might be regarded to transportation, how traffic's coming in and out of our region. We coordinate this plan with our other regional partners that are outside our area. So in Northwest Indiana with NERPC. We also work with Southwest Michigan Plan Commission to talk to them about what they're seeing their growth to be, what they're seeing the traffic is. So we so over the next year into the following year, we'll be updating that our long-range transportation plan to 2045 and looking out at what sort of needs and those might be. And so
a lot of public input on that.
Yeah.
And, opportunities for people to come to these public meetings to voice their opinions and get involved. And again, I think that's just it, is that, MACOG wants public support. They want people to discuss the future of the Michiana area.
Yeah, and that's what, focusing in around transportation is such a key issue throughout our area, and it's about how we get people around and how we move goods throughout our region. So with our last update, we included the active transportation, so that'll be something that's really comes to a core part of this new plan, and working on identifying how we measure and identify performance, and are we doing what we say we're going to do? Are we reducing congestion? Are we making things easier for people to get around?
Sure.
So you'll see a lot of that in there, and again, like you said, getting public input of where they see needs, where they can see growth, and identifying a good plan for the future.
Zach, as we conclude our show, any closing thoughts that you'd like to convey to the listening audience?
Well, at MACOG, we're really excited to be able to have this opportunity to talk on the radio show, to be working with you at South Shore Clean Cities. We are very excited about bringing together our region, working with communities outside of our region to really talk about how the future of northern Indiana is going to be. And we'd love to be a part of that and like to be a better partner for our other regions, or our local communities as businesses, and the public in general.
No, I mean, the future for our area looks very, very bright. And again, I think if unless you've been in a garage for a while and you haven't been in and around the various communities, you see a lot of activity that is occurring, a lot of improvements that are occurring in and around the South Bend area. And it's just exciting to see all that work, and some of the new thoughts and processes are going into this 2045 regional plan. And we look forward to having you and James and the rest of the crew on the radio show to talk about all the great things that are going on. So congratulations on your success, and I know your work is never done.
Yes.
So it's exciting. So and that will do it for today's edition of the Green Radio Network. I'm your host, Carl Lisek. Thanks again to our guest, Mr. Zach Drips from MACOG, and be sure to join us again on AM 1420 WIMS Radio and AM 1060 WHFB for the next edition of the Green Radio Network, and visit us online at southshorecleancities.org. And remember, it's never too late to begin your environmental legacy. Thank you, everybody.